The maid's daughter hosted a party in my home, claiming I was just the dog trainer. When I unleashed the Rottweiler, she dropped to her knees. Begging for mercy, I hid behind a thick tree trunk and watched silently as a grizzly bear attacked my husband. In my previous life, I was a guide. I led my husband, an environmental photographer, and his female colleague into a nature reserve to film wildlife. While scouting the route, I discovered a nursing grizzly bear and immediately warned them not to take any photos and to retreat slowly. To my shock, they intentionally bumped into me, causing my right leg to be cut and bleed. The scent of blood enraged the bear, and it charged straight at me, sinking its massive jaws into my abdomen. After the bear left, my husband calmly stripped me of all my equipment. Then, wrapping his arms around his female colleague, he kissed her. He turned to me with a sinister smile creeping across his face. "Kate," he said, "I'll be honest, I never loved you. You are dying. Now all your assets will be mine." I bled out and died when I opened my eyes again. It was the morning of the day we entered the mountains. "Kate, are you ready? Let's get going." Hearing my husband Damon Frank's familiar voice, I froze for a moment. Then it hit me I had been reborn. This was the day I took him and his colleague, no, his lover, into the mountains. I glanced at Damon, his gaze brimming with affection as he looked at me. For a moment, I felt dazed, unable to reconcile this man who treated me with such courtesy with the one who had betrayed me with his colleague Grace. Bonnie smiled at me. "Kate, this is my first time in a nature reserve. Please take care of me." Damon snorted. "Don't worry, Kate is experienced. Even if T here is danger, she'll risk her life to save us." The memory of helplessly waiting for death in the mountains during my past life came rushing back, stirring a deep-seated resentment that made my fists clench involuntarily. Forcing myself to stay calm, I nodded and replied as casually as I could, masking my emotions. In my previous life, before entering the mountains, I had repeatedly stressed the importance of safety in wildlife photography. I warned them against provoking the animals whose territorial instincts could easily turn deadly. The reserve was home to many large wild animals, and one mistake could mean the end. But Damon had intentionally pushed me down, causing a branch to slash open my leg. The grizzly bear, startled and enraged, charged at me, pinning me to the ground. Its massive jaws tore into my abdomen, ripping out a chunk of flesh, and my intestines spilled out grotesquely with blood dripping from its jaws. The bear attacked again, sinking its teeth into my arm and thigh. The searing pain forced a scream from my throat, a sound so raw it barely felt human. Yet Damon and Punal remained hidden behind a tree, watching my torment with glee. When the bear finally left, Damon and his lover sauntered over to me, his face twisted in disgust at the sight of my mutilated body, blood still pouring from the gaping wounds. He spat on me and then, with a casual flick of his foot, kicked my intestines aside. They took everything: my communication devices, defensive gear, and first aid supplies. Damon gave me a mocking glance before pulling Ken close and kissing her passionately right in front of me. Then he sneered. "Kate, I'll be honest with you, I never loved you. Once you are dead, all your assets will be mine." It was only then that I realized their affair had been going on for a long time. My death would grant him my inheritance and a hefty insurance payout. Paving the way for him to marry his lover in style, they left me behind, laughing and carefree while I lay alone in the desolate, pitch-black valley, cold and starving, my body racked with pain. I could only watch helplessly as my blood soaked into the grass beneath me. I bled out and died, but the god took pity on me, granting me a second chance at life. This time I would be prepared. This time I would drag those two down to hell.